Okay, great. Newish computer to me, and some of the slides weren't my own. So if there's a technical glitch, I'm already putting that out there. All right, so I am Mel Shilling, and I'm here to discuss Konsensus Network. It's a freedom publishing house. It started out as a Bitcoin publishing house, but they decided that Bitcoin is more than just UTXOs. It's a lifestyle, so they're building that direction. Let's see. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a collector. I don't collect things. I collect skills, employment, ideas. Those are things that are interesting to me. Currently, I serve as chair of the Environmental Review Appeals Commission. We have statewide jurisdiction over all matters arising out of Ohio EPA. I have a cold, sorry. Department of Agriculture, and local boards of health. So if a landfill is built next to your house, you would appeal to us. If you're a landfill and you get a permit and you don't like the terms of it, it comes to us. So that is what I do. I've done that since 2003, and for about 90% of the time I've served as chair. And I think it's because people just don't want to do the extra work. I'd like to think it's because they like me, but I think my colleagues just voted me chair because they don't want to deal with the extra chaos. But in that job, I get to hear amazing cases. We have PhDs who come in and speak or testify on things like slope stability of a landfill, hydrogeology. So I'm constantly hearing testimony from some of the most brilliant minds in environmental law. So that's really fun. I'm an adjunct professor. Each fall, I teach an environmental law class, and I enjoy that very much. We do talk about Bitcoin mining, and anybody who's willing to, install a wallet, I share some sats. So, and then we have a free class where I say all we're going to do is talk about Bitcoin or other environmental topics that you guys want to talk about, but I kind of take over, and we talk about Bitcoin most of the night. So it's been fun. I have a wide variety of ages. I'll have 18-year-olds, and one time I had a guy from the UAE who, back in his country, he was an organic chem professor. So I felt a lot of pressure talking about environmental things because I felt like he knew a lot. So anyway, great students. And then why I'm here tonight is because I'm the English editor for Konsensus Network. Let's see. All right. So for the first book, you get the full choice. Think about the top picture and the bottom picture. The top picture is an 18th century painting of ladies in a brothel. And then, I don't know why that disappeared, but you saw it was the book Life After Google by George Gilder. So as I'm talking about this slide, think about how those two are related, and if anyone comes up with an answer or makes up an answer, they get a book. So if you are here tonight, you are predisposed to get Bitcoin. There's something about the way you think, the way you understand the world, just your life experiences cause you to get Bitcoin as a technology, as a protocol, as a store of value, and how it can change the world. So it might be from your family, it might be from your community, but you've had some experience that predisposes you to understanding that. When we meet here again, in another quarter, not everybody in the room will be predisposed, probably. This is probably the last cohort of people who got it on their own. After this spring, I think people will be marketed to, so you'll have a lot of people where BlackRock and Fidelity brought them into the mix rather than your own curiosity. So this is kind of a really special group, and take pride in that. That's a credit to who you are. So I've covered all of those. Yes, and I'm kind of bummed that we don't have this picture anymore. But, so you remember the two things. Does anybody have an idea of how they're connected?
They're both centralized.
They are, yes. Yeah.
Owner of the brothel.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Harvests other people's time and services. Yes. Right, right. That's good. That's good.
Both provide pleasure.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I'm going to grab my water. The cold's really bad. Okay, so the first answer giver, come and choose a book. Awesome. Those two are connected because of me. So in 2017 was the first I had heard about Bitcoin, and I heard about it because a friend's acquaintance had been diagnosed with cancer. He apparently was early on and had, I don't know, thousands of Bitcoin. I mean, like no small, tens of thousands, not just like 1,000. But anyway, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he decided that his last year of his life, he was going to go out in what he called style. So he booked a private jet, and he went around the world in search of pleasures. And so that is the first time I ever heard of Bitcoin, was because that is how he financed his farewell trip. So that, I thought the ladies of ill repute from the 18th century could represent that. The second time I heard about Bitcoin was 2018, and it was from the book Life After Google. George Gilder is a futurist, and he sees things, obviously, before they happen. But he didn't talk about Bitcoin until the last chapter. In the last chapter, he analyzes Bitcoin and the E word. And he decided that the E word was probably going to be the dominant cryptocurrency. He missed the mark on that, but he did see the future as becoming decentralized from Google. If you like that kind of material, it's worth just checking out of the library. I don't think it needs to be in your library, but just get it, listen to it when you walk, whatever. If you're a technologist, you'll like it. If you like philosophy and how communities evolve, you'll like that as well. So that's how those two are related, is that they're me. Not that I'm a brothel, but you know. So, all right. So to wrap up, you are here tonight because you are unique in the way you think, or you had an immediate need. I don't see, and I didn't meet everyone, but maybe you fled a country. Maybe you lived in Venezuela. One of my coworkers lives in Venezuela. So he has an immediate need to Bitcoin. So one of the two. But I think we all fall in the unique category. All right, so Konsensus Network is very unique in that it is set up as a starfish organization. And granted, we can do that because of the nature of the work that we do, rather than a spider. So you're wondering, what is a starfish? What is a spider? A starfish organization is one where you could lop off an arm or a piece of an arm, and it would grow back. It's not centralized. It doesn't depend on any one person for it to function. And while these concepts can't be applied to every business to the extreme layer that we do them, they can be applied to most businesses at some level within departments. A spider, if you pull off its legs, one leg or two legs, it will die. It will not be able to function. But a starfish is not dependent on any one person and relies on the strength of the group to grow. So in-house, I'll do this. So I won't read those to you. You guys are good readers. So the mission statement for Konsensus Network, So I need to talk to Nico. Nico is the founder of Konsensus, and I rewrote this today because I think we can do it better. I'm going to send it to him and see what he thinks. He had things moved around and it wasn't as clear, and I had struck it out, and I was going to make you listen to the whole thing. But this is what our mission is: to enrich minds and inspire growth by publishing enduring narratives and stories that shoot beyond immediate wants, fostering a deeper understanding of freedom. So that is what Konsensus Network does. Hopefully every book or publication that Konsensus Network puts out reaches you in that way. All right. So here's a quick survey of what happened. Nico founded the company in about 2019. He received the first lightning payment for a book in that year as well. They contacted, I was not with them at that time, they contacted SAFE to see if they could translate the Bitcoin standard. And he said, well, yes, that's great. So some volunteers stepped up to translate the Bitcoin standard. And that was the first book out of Konsensus Network. In 2020, they opened the Portuguese, Brazilian, and Dutch languages. All these projects go up in a Telegram channel. There's the Dutch channel, the Portuguese channel. And when a book comes in, it just gets posted, and somebody who wants to do it picks it up. So that's that idea of a starfish. And then in 2021, new website, bull growth market. In 22, we opened Spanish and French. And then in late 22, we opened the English market, and that's where I came into play. Oh, sorry. Is this my one? Thank you. I'm going to take a sip. Anybody want a book? Ask a good question.
How many holes does a straw have?
Okay, ask a good question related to the topic. Yes, sir.
How would a global network of translators, is it a race?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You post up a book that needs translated in other languages, is it a race?
It can be.
Identify somebody to get the
Absolutely, that's a great question. It's reputational. People do, it's the Bitcoin ethics. You don't volunteer for something unless you know you can deliver a quality product. We really don't have people overpromising or delivering bad products. If it's a massive work, they'll divide it up into chapters, and then those people will go off and work on it together. But that's a great question. And yes, sometimes it's a race, but other times they kind of languish, and we have to post it again.
I'm going to race against two people that are both interested in.
Yes, sometimes it is a race between those two people, but usually it just kind of cycles through. If you don't have a big project on the table, you'll step up. If you do, you won't. So come and choose a book.
Just to clarify, it's a race.
It's a race to claim it, to say I'll do the work. But people are very cognizant of not overpromising. Yeah. Okay, so how I got started with Konsensus Network was that I heard Knut on a podcast, and he said, I have a Telegram channel, I've got this. So I joined his Telegram channel, and in the Telegram channel, he said, I'm looking for an editor. Well, that's all I've been doing, is editing highly technical content. We're like at ERAC, we're like a court. So what I write is a legal opinion, and it can be appealed up through the judicial system. So that's all I've done, is edit people's work who are super smart. So I said, I'll take a stab at it. And he said, okay, great. And for the first 6 months that we worked together, until we spoke, on a phone call, he didn't realize I was female. So it was really funny. He's like, oh, I had no idea. But that was pretty funny. But so it was really fun to build a nice rapport with the author. So that's how I got involved. And then we have an author lounge at the Bitcoin meetups, and we launched self-publishing services. And then this 21 Futures book was the first book where we integrated AI in. At the beginning of every story is a picture generated from a summary of the story, and they're just beautiful if you see them online. They're really just beautiful, beautiful things. So this next, I don't know if it'll play. Looks dicey. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get it. Yeah. Nope, we'll move on. So what's ahead for Konsensus Network? 2024, we're really going to embrace the idea of doing something beyond just books. We have blogs, libertarian perspectives. We're designing services for self-publication, meaning if you want to author something but you don't want the full publication package, you can just buy a typesetter. You can just buy an editing package. And we have a blog. So if you have something out there you want to say, send it to me, pro bono, zip through it, see if it's something we can post. You can post it on your own blog and cross-post with us as well. In 2025, they'd like to have some sort of academy. So there's an idea of book-based classes. So if you wanted to do a micropraxeology class rather than SAFE's massive one, you could do Knut's praxeology with him type deal. They see themselves as an entertainment arm as well. There's been interest in turning some of the fiction into short stories, short movies, short fiction films. So that's kind of interesting. And then in 2026, we've got some people working on the back end, and they're looking to offer a self-publishing package that will be what KDP, which is Amazon arm, pretends to be. So that's kind of what they're doing as well. All right, you can read these numbers. I won't read them all to you. Over 15 authors, 10 licenses for the Bitcoin standard alone. So we've translated that to 10 different languages. Lynn Alden contacted us to do translations for Broken Money as well. So we are seen as not the premier English publishing house, but the place where if you've written something and you want to get it worldwide, you come to us. So I won't read those to you. You all can read that. All right, so I just snagged this from the website. Konsensus Network speaks your language. Those flags represent the most popular translation countries that we've generated. All right, and then that is the end of it. We won't get it tonight, but if you, I'll make these available to somebody, and if you click that, you'll be taken to the bookshop, and you can see all the languages and stuff if you want it. Okay, so I mentioned that I would give out 3 cheat codes on how to write in the Bitcoin space. So I'm not going to give you the same thing that your teacher from high school gave you, write for your audience. We all know that one. Why would you be writing? But I would like, and this is what I have learned, that the people who write in the Bitcoin space, super capable, smart, know their material more than any other cohort of people I've met, but they tend to couch their words in a very humble and gracious manner. But you as the reader don't want that when you're trying to work through a piece. So what I've asked my authors to do is to take out the I's. And an easy way to remember that was to put an I rather than the letter I, so it'll stick with you. So get rid of I believe, I feel, I think. You're the author. Of course it's your opinion, unless it's a fact, and then in that case you might have a citation. So remove these. They just clutter your message. Sorry. And then the next one is breaking the length. Too many people write like they talk, or they want to write like they talk. So they'll say, she was walking, I was looking. So that they use those linking words, but if you see a was and it is, are doing, that means you can find go to the thesaurus, find a word that conveys the action. You don't need both of those words. So instead of she was walking, she meandered, or maybe she sauntered, or maybe she hustled or ran. That will engage the reader as you're working through. So get rid of words. And then the last one is lead me through your document or your writing. Nobody likes to ask for directions. Or maybe you do, and that's probably an old thing from when we didn't have, Google Maps or whatever. But lead me, tell me what you're going to tell me, and give me signals. Open your paragraphs with first, second, third, rather, in contrast. On the other hand, tell me what's important as you're working me through the document. Your audience as Bitcoiners, super smart, super interested. If they click on that link to read your blog, pick up your book, they want to get right to the material. They're not looking to waste time. So it's incumbent on you to work through that. Oh, use AI too. I have been really loving Claude. Has anybody used that one lately? Do you like that one? I like it better. Yeah, it's really good. So I was doing an analysis of a quotation because I didn't think somebody had the quotation right. It was between Hayek or Mises. And I said, who said this? And it said, this is most like so-and-so, but there's no known direct quotation. And I said, well, what about Mises? Could it have been Mises? And, so I tried to make it conversational. It said, unlikely because this prong would not have fit with his philosophy. So these AIs are just really digging into the material and giving conversational feedback that you can use in your writing as well. So any questions on the 3 hacks? Okay, I'm finished. What questions?
I guess actually I have one on the lead me part of
yes.
directing.
Yeah.
Is that more of just, I actually do a lot of writing myself, so when I think of that, it's kind of like organizing things. Do you think of trying to have like a goal? Because sometimes stuff can be kind of just like, where are we going?
Right, that is exactly. Yes, that is it. So when you do this, I'm sure, you just throw it all on a piece of paper, and then you have to think, what am I trying to say? And then you'll find this part goes up there, that part, you don't even need it anymore. You'll probably, a good writer will get rid of about 50% of their heart. And it's hard, to send that back. When I send back material, I always have a conversation with the author. It's all important and it's good, but you don't want to make your reader go through all that because you can capture it with fewer words and directions, but you're spot on. Yeah. So choose a book. Yeah. Is anybody else incentivized? Oh, great. We have another question.
Maybe like more context if you go a self-publishing route.
Yeah.
Does that mean you retain all the ownership rights, but you still can get editing services and distribution, or what?
Yes, all those things. So every phase of the publishing process can be broken out. So you can just hire, if you're an English writer, you end up just, I become your editor right now, or somebody else becomes the editor that, I handpick based on the process. You can also buy a typesetter. You can also buy a percentage of sales to be listed in the shop, much like Amazon does. Or you can do what's called the white glove service. You just say, look, here's my manuscript. Take me through to the end of the process. They'll get the ISBN number. They'll get it posted on Amazon. They'll also get it, typeset, edited, and it's really a high quality publishing. And Nico is doing a lot of the covers now, like all the covers, specifically this one, all of them really. I mean, this is AI generated. So he's really doing a great job with this. So yeah, I hope you're thinking about writing riveting tax material. Yeah. Oh, are you a fiction writer?
Not quite.
Okay, well, they're going to do another 21 Futures, so they'll be accepting submissions for that. So, yeah, get it polished.
In a Bitcoin standard world, what does an auditor even mean, right? Do you need a full CPA firm, right?
Right.
You can just trust, we all can trust the network, so
Yeah.
what more do you need?
Well, if you decide you want to develop that into like more than a paragraph or two, put together an idea for a blog post, ship it to me, and I know we would want to put that up because it fits the idea of a lifestyle post, what it's like to live in the Bitcoin world. So yeah, definitely do that. Anybody else want to put? Oh, get a book. After this, 2 more to go. Any questions? Oh, good.
Have you ever been approached by like the whole nutrition, the carnivore diet type of Bitcoiner folks? Because I'm surprised they haven't already published anything.
Yeah, I am surprised too. I think that's your niche. You write that one. Yeah, there you go. Grab a steak and and a typewriter. Yeah, but I see those things coming. It's like it's a starfish model. It's very driven by what comes in the door. Although we might push for content, and that's a great one. Daniel Prince does a lot of work, and I know he's big into carnivore. So he might be somebody who would write something on that book if you like it. Yes.
Thanks.
This is probably a dumb question.
No.
Do you have to be a really fast reader to be an editor?
No, to be an editor? No. In fact, I have to slow down, because I have to think about how that will be processed by the reader and a variety of readers. So now, if a manuscript comes in and I'm just assessing it for how much time it's going to take to edit, marketing possibility, audience scope, yeah, I'll blow through that super fast.
That's what I've always wondered. Like, this is the first time I'm writing like the editor. And for years I've wondered, like, for somebody with like dyslexia, like, when you are for me to read, you gotta be like top 10% of readers.
Well, I do the finger in the middle thing, the fast reader finger in the middle. And, over the time I've trained, because, I've trained my eyes to pick up the peripheral. There's a method, yeah. And then here's another awesome hack. Does anybody use Natural Reader? Okay, I will tell you. Natural Reader is this kind of mini AI that you can put on your phone or your computer. You've got this massive document to work through, boring as hell, but you need to get through it. So you can have it, whether it's a Word document or a PDF, upload it and have it read to you at 2x, 2.5x, 3x. You can power through it. And of course, if you hit something, you're like, oh, I don't understand that. You can rewind and slow it down. So it's having somebody personally work through that. Now, the key, sorry, the cold. The key, you get to choose your voice, your reader. The key is to choose somebody from Great Britain rather than somebody from the US. And let me tell you why. Because if you're listening to an AI read in English, your brain is gonna get glitched on the words the AI sounds weird saying, where it sounds a little robotic. But if it's in British accent, you don't even notice it because you don't know what it's supposed to sound like. So that is the infinite glitch on that, and you can get through a lot of material fast. I do that a lot.
Somebody is reading a bottleneck. Like, do you have to say like, oh, you came up with a 10,000 page manuscript. Now I need 3 months to read it or something?
Yes. If I am editing that, I let the author know. And again, it's skill dependent. I find engineers to be good writers, but they have not, I don't know. So if I were to teach a class on for engineers to write, I would tell them that the human brain is like a computer. So you have to crack the code of what will make it respond. So if you treat your words, your commas, your organization like code, like writing code, you can write a lot better. So when I've had that discussion with engineers, the next rewrite they send back looks so different, so different. So I loved grammar, but I think that was because it's like the algebra of English, because it's all about rules and exceptions. So yeah, so if you write with the human brain as your computer and you're coding for the human brain, particularly in nonfiction, if you're writing fiction, think about painting with your words. Yeah. Okay, you get the last book, but I will take more questions. Thank you.
What voice do you keep your GPS in?
Oh, I don't even switch. My first job out of undergrad, I drove around the country, and I did it by maps, so I don't mind getting lost. So, okay. Yes?
So what's the business model look like for you guys? And like and maybe the editing business in general, or maybe how you guys differ from it? I'm not too familiar with, say, when a book comes out, who's getting paid when, and does the author pay up front, or what do these things look like?
That's a great question, because we're figuring that out. Some authors want to pay up front, some pay as it goes along, some pay at the very end. So it's just whomever we're working with. If it's usually the great books that come in, the great manuscripts, are referrals. And again, it's the Bitcoin ethos. We trust so many people. It's not like Lynn Alden isn't going to pay, right? Yeah, it's not like SAFE is going to say, oh, I know you translated that to Portuguese, and I worked with a guy from the Philippines. They're going to pay. So, maybe we don't bill them till the end. Yeah. Yes?
From environmental mining, have you seen that FUD turn a little bit? And just what's the attitude of the market there?
Yes, absolutely. We have seen a change. I don't get the environmental mining cases at ERAC because they don't have any emissions. But we have cases that come through, and I think these people should be mining with their, to capture the methane. And we have a fair number of biosolids cases right now. And, those people should be mining. And then the neighbors would be super happy. They wouldn't complain so much if that were captured. So I don't get hands-on. No, I can't, because I'm supposed to be, and I am. I shouldn't say I'm supposed to be. I'm impartial. So my cases, so if you were an expert witness, you'd sit in the witness chair. I'd swear you in. You'd get a question, and then somebody else would cross-examine you. It's just like you'd see on television, but no jury. I don't think it would be very interesting. Okay, any other questions? Okay, these were better questions than I could have come up with, so thank you.
Thank you, Matt.